Welcome. Buongiorno, bonjour, good morning, namaste, sat sri akal, assalamu alaikum. I've got another few, and I'll leave it at that moment in time, but I'm really glad to see the amount of people we've got in this room. I'm reliably told we've got about 18 nationalities and professionals from 11 different fields of work. So we actually are gathered today just to think about, we're accountants, lawyers and healthcare professionals, but when we're looking at the offshoots, we've got some stuff we heard from Damiano, and that's real estate. So we've got 11 professionals in this room, a fantastic audience, a wonderful gathering, wonderful. And before I start the presentation, I have a disclosure to make, an interesting one. The topic for today is about AI and how that's affecting our lives and how that is changing our lifestyle and our professional behavior. So I set myself a task today. I didn't prepare any presentation for today. I didn't prepare for the topic at all. And I said, let's see, my topic starts at 20 to 11. Can I start at 10 o'clock and create a presentation using AI that would have the usual bits that needs to be for a 10-minute presentation? And let's see, and you can judge it for yourself, how good is AI in today's day and age. And again, I started at 10, and shy of 20 to 11, the presentation was done, and it was sent across to Azim. There's witnesses on my table, honestly, cross my heart, you can ask them. I was doing it on my laptop as we were there. So I'm very excited to showcase what AI actually changes our lifestyle, rather than me spending 2.5 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, doing a lot of research on a lot of topics about resilience, having the background knowledge. Having the background knowledge is fantastic, but then using that technology to facilitate us as professionals to be able to present what we need to do on a topic we're professionals about, on a topic we're experts about, is become a lot easier. So, saying that, I think I should start by introducing myself. A bit late. My name is Dr. Kamran Shaikh. I'm the president for Adam Global Europe. I've also the privilege of being the founder and the managing partner for Morgan Reach International, which is an accountancy firm in the UK, also operating out of other countries worldwide. The topic today is, he's changed it already, resilience, and how to, resilience in the face of economic downturns, strategies for individuals, businesses and communities. So we're going to look at a glance, as I am from the UK, a chart which would be on the following page after contents, which would show us how the economy has been impacted by the economic change. Now, all this morning we've been talking about AI, what's happening to the economy, how people are using it, how it's facilitating and helping us to deliver strategies, and how it's helping us to manage the economic downturn. We all know about a lot of economic downturns that have happened over the years, starting as far back as the economic depressions of the 1920s and the 30s. Then we had the oil crisis, and most recently we've had COVID-19. And all of them have had a similar sort of an impact, but in some cases, as was presented by Gunter and his team, they've taken sometimes longer and sometimes shorter for the markets to recover. And the lifestyle of the people have affected drastically in some instances, in some countries, more so than the others. However, as we go towards becoming a global village, as we go towards becoming more close to have the ability of having imports and exports across the world easily come across to us, whether it's in terms of products, whether it's in terms of services or anything else, that changes in the economic downturn then has the impact quite flatly, if I may add, I'm not taking Gunter's spotlight here, but across the world. And then that is then factored into the investments that are out there. For example, if we look at the history, say 2 decades ago, the Far East was not doing as well as it's doing now in the emerging markets. Whereas because the curve is evened out, and the access to the Far Eastern economies, namely China, to the rest of the world and the routes that they've got into the other countries has ensured that the stability is there. Here's a little graph I did earlier through AI, and it nicely shows across what's happening. Oh, he's changed the graph. It nicely shows across how things have been impacted, not as detailed and as long back as Gunter's, but I think it's just to give us a snapshot of what's happening in the economy and how the economies are recovering as a result of the decisions the governments are making, and dare I add, they are using non-organic, a very nice word from Edith, technology, but using humans behind it to run it. And that's the key, which we will discuss in a discussion later on. What is the impact of the economic downturn, and what is resilience? Resilience is very simple. As humans, we've always heard the term survival of the fittest. So what is resilience? Resilience is how we adapt to changing scenarios. How do we change what we're doing and we go into a direction which helps us to get to our end goal with the least resistance? How do we, or how actively can we change our internal strategies, albeit individuals, albeit businesses or communities, to change the way we're going to ensure that our goal is achieved easier, with least amount of effort, least amount of financial resource, and hopefully in the best possible manner. The impact on individuals, the impact on individuals are very, very common in terms of financial stress, job losses, and mental well-being. Now, I think they're very, very easily linked up together, because when you have financial stress, which a lot of the people in the world at the moment in time, whichever country you're based in, is facing due to the austerity measures. Prices are going up, inflation is going through the roof, the cost of living crisis, especially in the UK, has been pretty severe. And only recently, as of last week, the Bank of England stopped the interest rate rise. It was constantly going up for 14 times in a row, and it's come up to 5.25. Now, I know analysts are talking about putting it up to 6%. Hail Mary for me, I said, let's not go to 6%, it's too much. But first time in 14 months or 15 months, they've said, we put a freeze on it. And these are the things that we're looking at. People are under financial stress. They are losing their jobs, because when you have a market where you have fantastic employment, there is recession that's coming around the corner, and that goes hand in hand. And with financial stress, some families, we're talking about India is one of the largest economies, but India, if you think about it, gone are the days, or even quite recently, one person feeds a family. So one person works and they're feeding 10 mouths, and if they're not getting enough money in the short term, that's not going to feed those mouths, or it's going to strain the financial ability, hence bringing the individuals that are involved in that economic exercise to get the money in to have mental stress. So what's the strategies that we can use to alleviate the resilience strategies for individuals? Now, to me, it's not alien to look at savings, but in the UK, to my father, let me just say, rephrase it, my father or my grandfather, it's not alien to have savings. But growing up in the UK, you don't want to save savings, you earn the money, you go and spend it down the pub, or when you're a bit younger, maybe elsewhere. So when you're looking at all of this, you want to make sure that when you can see issues arising on the horizon, you start to make savings. Also, one of the things that we're lacking in the first world is developing new skills. Why is India developing? And I'll dwell on that for about a second or two. They're developing because if you can't get a job in a particular sector, people are very open to go out there and go, well, let me see what else can I do. As if my job doesn't work as an accountant, I might consider becoming a lawyer, because healthcare is too difficult for me. Is unfathomable for me. I acknowledge you guys are doing the best job ever. I cannot risk my negligence to kill somebody on an operating theatre. Getting somebody's accounts wrong is not a problem, it's only a tax bill which you can challenge afterwards. Budgeting. Now, a lot of people, at least in the developed countries, are not really looking at budgeting. We're going across and saying, I'm going to get £1,000 and I'm going to spend it, and whatever I have left that I need to spend, I'll go put it on a credit card. Now, in a lot of countries, we don't have credit cards, which means that people budget for what they need to spend on. And if they suddenly think, my electric bill's gone through the roof, they go, right, we need to make adjustments elsewhere. Right, we're not going to go on 3 holidays a year, we're going to go 2 holidays a year. And so forth. And the one very good point, which I was very interested in earlier, as you all saw, Wes Gunter was talking about alternative or diversifying income streams, is what else can I do? Where can I put my money? Where can I build a nest egg which can generate me a bit of money without me actually doing anything, which we call passive income? People can invest in property, people can invest in shares, or maybe in with our friends at, what's the name of our firm, Mr Alpha, and see if we can get the good returns out there. We swiftly then move on to the impact on businesses, and it's a cycle. We are, as individuals, are consumers of what businesses provide. If we don't have money in our pocket, what's that going to do? Quite straightforwardly, we're not going to have enough money to spend with that business. So they're going to have decreased consumer spending. What does that mean? Well, that means is I have to now make redundancies. What does that mean? Financial loss, job losses. Again, in the same cycle. And if we don't break the cycle, it's going to keep on going on a downward spiral. You've got supply chain disruptions. So if people haven't got the employees to build the products that need to be sold, then we're going to have a shortage of supply, hence pushing the prices up. Again, austerity, again, issues. And cash flow challenges. People are, in businesses, looking at loans. I mean, we in Europe are not alien to the concept of the government coming in during COVID and assisting the businesses with regards to COVID-funded loans, grants, and all sorts and sundry to ensure businesses stayed alive till we came out of COVID. And it did help a lot of businesses nationally and internationally, both in Europe and elsewhere, especially in the UK, for businesses to carry on trading and to ensure that they've got employment for people out there. What sort of resilience strategies do we have for businesses, or can we suggest to them? Again, contingency planning. We have to respond, and this is one of the things that every economic specialist out there in the world would say the same thing to us, is how do we respond to change? Again, how quickly do we respond to change? As you guys were saying at Mr Alpha, if we know there's an issue, as per Rotimi's question, of a president change, a prime minister, a coup, or something or the other, how quickly do we react to that to ensure our numbers, our algorithms are changed, to ensure our business survives? It's not making losses. Diversification, cost cutting, customer relationship management. I guess the last one, when I was reading it, I was cringing a little bit. Well, if I don't have much money and if you're trying to smooth me, I'm not really going to listen to you because I don't have any much money to spend with you. But with people who do have money and have the alternative of going for a cheaper option or your services, you can probably distinguish to say, listen, stay with us because we can provide you a higher level of service rather than go for the cheapest chips option, which might not be as reliable. And if you need customer service, we're there, they're not. Well, that's the ploy anyway. Finally, how does that all work in the overall cycle? So it's the impact on communities. And what is a community? It's all of us. It could be a local community, it could be a regional community, it could be a national community, and in this case, we're all sat around the table as an international community. Here we'll focus on the communities from an insular level, which is a local community. And the issues that you would face is local business closures, again, unemployment and social services strain. Social services strain could be a lot of things. And when you look into the delve of it, it's not just the social services that we look at from the government perspective, but the local issues are, if I haven't got any money and my children are going hungry, what do you think I'm going to do? I won't stop robbing my neighbour. I'll carry on and rob others and others. And this is where the issues are arising in the third world countries, where the crime rate rises. Even in the UK, if you look in the recent years, in the last 2 years, there's been a surge of crime, and especially thefts, robberies, and such. So cars are being nicked from the drives, people's houses are being raided for gold and jewellery and cash. And if you've got a presence in the community and people perceive you to be having a lot of money, then you're probably broken into every other week, which is a shame, but that's a result that it has on communities locally as a result of the downturn in the economy. How can we do that? How can we ensure that there's some resilience there? We can look at supporting local economies. There's a big drive in the UK, and I'm sure there's in Europe. I haven't seen any personally that I can vouch for, but the AI told me there was, so I will believe it. And it is buy local. Very simple. Buy local. Go to your local shop. Buy something from there. You're investing and reinvesting in your own community, having the impact of keeping that employment, that shop, that individual up and live, which means that will have a positive impact within the community, hopefully less crime, less robbings, stabbings, and break-ins. Small business assistance programs, which are normally done by government, but there's a lot of communities that are out there who would have a little funding programs. We have one in the Midlands in the UK. Name is ART, which is a asset and reinvestment trust. What does that do? All that does is says these people, wonderful people, have got business that's doing really, really well, and these people are struggling. Well, let's get them to put some money in together. We'll loan this money across to these people at a favourable rate, hopefully keeping all of them and all of their businesses alive, hence the jobs are there, and then when the money comes back, that can be used to feed this bunch of people, and so on and so forth. So not only look at the government, but look at internally where you are as a community, and try to create a program where you can support local businesses, infrastructure investments, and building social safety net. This again is at a government level, but again there is nothing saying the local communities, depending on the size of the community. For example, we are in Stresa. Maybe Stresa has within Lombardy a place where they can get together as businesses, and the local council or the local chamber can invest together. So there's a lot of opportunity there that can be done for businesses and communities and individuals. What's the importance of collaboration? All we've been talking about through this, about the economic downturn and how to be resilient to come out of it, is collaboration. So what's the importance of collaboration, and how proactively can we build resilience? How actively can we use the technologies that we have to ensure our strategies are put in place? How actively can we use the data that's provided to us historically, currently, and volatility-wise? What's happening in the economy out there? What's happening in politics? What's happening international? How is Russia going to affect China? How's China going to affect Europe, Germany, for one instance in here? And how it's going to affect the UK? If we can build the building blocks behind the scenes, it's very important that we do that, because that's where the resilience comes in. Using the power of local and international economies to our benefit. And the hot topic today is use AI to try and predict trends and use them to your advantage. Ensure to stay relevant and react fast enough to adjust your strategies to ensure your businesses, your communities, your individuals stay ahead of the curve when it goes downwards, and you've got enough resources and nest eggs and investments put in the right place for you to be able to survive that economic downturn. And on that note, that's myself. I thank you all for your wonderful attention. And if you have any questions, do I take them now, Mark, or do I do them after?
Please.
Oh, right, well, I'm open to questions. Remembering this is AI generated. My lovely friend, Dr. Paul Barber.
No, I just wanted to speak on behalf of just saying how brilliant that was. That not only did you demonstrate that you could do an AI talk, I don't know if you can hear me, not only did you demonstrate a fantastic AI talk, but you demonstrated collaboration with the talk fitting in together. And I think that's something just shows that human beings need to be have to be collaborative with AI as well. And that's something I've just seen today. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. That's wonderful.